Hey everyone, I am Adrena of Fenora Web Design and Consulting. Welcome back to the channel. Here I give web design tips for small businesses and also tips around branding, SEO, analytics, and other things that are website related for small businesses. Okay, so today I am going to talk about Analytics 101. And analytics are very, very important for the small business owner because it's how you make informed business decisions. Okay, so before we get into that, please hit subscribe for more content like this, and let's get into it. Hey everyone, all right, so let's get started. I have one of my clients analytics pulled up. This particular client is a festival that takes place twice a year in the spring and fall, and so I thought that this would be a very good example to use, so that you can see the numbers kind of like in real time, and also they have such large numbers. Is really good to kind of give better explanations. All right, so there are six things that you need to look at that are the basis of Analytics 101. All right, so the first one is your overall traffic, and your overall traffic is going to be basically this. The overall traffic is just what it is. Everybody who comes to your site, whether they're new, returning, you can just get a snapshot of every single behavior of the people who are coming to your site. So if you look at this um, up here, these are the visits, and the date is set for October 13th to November 11th. But you can change that. This is just set to the last 30 days. The analytics that we're using here is from Squarespace, but if you're using Google Analytics or using any other type of analytic platform, they all have the same thing, just in different places. So this is set for the last 30 days, but you can see here, you can change it if you just want to see the numbers from last week, um, last year up until today. You can do whatever you want. You can customize it, select your own dates. Like it's pretty, flexible. But as you can see here, the total overall visits within the last 30 days has been 11,000 visits, right? And then you see here you have bounce rate, which we will get into later, unique visits, page views, and stuff like that. So as you go down, the overall traffic also includes things like the top sources by the visits, like where did they come from? Um, like you see here, like Facebook, most of the visitors came from Facebook. Devices, what are devices people are using? We're going to get into this later too, but as you can see, it's mobile. Like most people are using mobile, which isn't surprising because we are a mobile society now. And the browsers that people are using, people have mobile Safari, Chrome, and then also top operating systems like iOS, right? So that is just what your overall traffic is. And that's good to know if you just want to see how many people in general are visiting the site. And you can just kind of make decisions from there about whether you want to increase that number or you're okay with it. All right. So the second part of analytics that you can look at is the bounce rate. And the bounce rate is when a visitor comes to your site and they leave without going to a second page of your site. Typically, a good bounce rate is, or normal bounce rate is between 40 and 55%. But anything over 30, you might want to kind of look at, and it also depends on the type of content that you have on your site. So, for example, if you just have a home page and maybe just like a contact page, your bounce rate may be higher because most people don't need your contact. They just want to know what's on the home page and then they get that information and they leave. So, for example, the bounce rate here is high, it's 74.24%. But I can tell you that with this website, most people come to purchase tickets and they visit that homepage to purchase tickets, and they probably go there and then end up going to the ticketing website. So this is probably why the bounce rate is high here. Um, But yeah, anything over 30, you might want to look at it. Usually, when a bounce rate is high, it could be for a few things. Like I said, it could be depending on the content, but also it could be because some websites have a slow loading time and they have like big files on the website, and that causes the website to load slowly. And people are very impatient. So, if it takes too long to load, then most people would just leave the website altogether. Um, Another reason why a bounce rate could be high could be simply because, the website is unattractive. It doesn't look legitimate. If it's a lot of information on there, people don't want to like kind of swift through a lot of information. If it's not laid out in a very minimalist and very user friendly way, people will come to the website and leave, and that will increase your bounce rate. The third part of analytics, and this is really important in business decisions, is the traffic sources. So here we have the traffic sources. This tells you where your visitors are coming from. So basically, your leads, like how did they get to your site? When you look here, there are several different, ways that people came to this website. I do know that this client has ads running across social media and things like that. There's a big email blast that goes out that we provide for them. And so the social media obviously is 46% of where people come from to visit this site. And it also, most analytics will break down within social media where, like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, wherever it is. Also Yelp, TikTok, Twitter. So, all of these things is very, very important when you want to make marketing decisions, because you know what to put most of your, I guess, budget and time into. For example, like the email campaigns, um, Mailchimp, Squarespace campaigns. Things like this can give you like more informed decisions on how to budget and put your money into things where you know that your clients are going to find you and come to the website and get what they need, and you'll know how to convert them into paying clients. So that's traffic resources. The fourth thing we could talk about is like the devices, desktop versus mobile. Um, on Squarespace, they don't have a specific one, but I know for a fact that it is under traffic, the overall traffic, and we can look at it here. This is important. Now, I'm going to tell you why this is important in regards to web design, because the one thing that I stressed a lot with Fenora Web Design and Consulting is that we are a mobile first design company, because over half the populations make online transactions through mobile devices. So it's very important that your website is responsive so that when people pull it up on a phone or a tablet, it formats correctly. And that can also cut down on your bounce rate, but people can read the information in a way it still looks presentable, and people can get what they need and kind of be on their way. So here 90% of people use mobile to access this website. Very few people are on desktop anymore. Very few people use tablet, like 1%, 10%. But the mobile devices is very, very important. So I would encourage all small business owners to make sure that when you are working with a web designer, to make sure that they make your website responsive. Usually when you use templates like Squarespace or Wix, it's already like built for that, but sometimes you have to switch things around, and kind of reformat their layouts to make it better for mobile versus desktop versus tablet. All right, so that is another component that you should look at for analytics, and that's the mobile versus desktop. Okay, so the fifth part of analytics that you want to look at is your site content. So the site content tells you where people are going on your site and how often. So on this, obviously the homepage, usually the homepage is always like the biggest, because that's just where people land for the most part when they come to your site. However, they don't always land there depending on links that you have throughout maybe like an email campaign, for example, you have a link that goes specifically to maybe a product or a service, they're not going to be landing on the homepage first. They're going to land on that product page first. So you can't always count on that somebody's going to come to your site and just land on the homepage. So these things vary. Here, obviously, it's the homepage because this is where I know where we have the ticket sales and like the schedule and stuff like that of the festival. The who's coming would be second. Obviously, it's a festival. People want to know. It's a food festival, so people want to know like how who's coming and things like that, and view menus and stuff like that. And then the event schedule would be like the third thing. But this is basically showing like where people are going on your site. This is good for anyone who has a service-based site or a blog because you will know what type of content to write. So for example, if you have a fashion blog, but you write about styling, how to style a certain outfit, but then you also do a blog about where to shop for things that are cheap. So you can kind of decipher between the two. Like if people are looking at more content about where to buy things for cheap, to write more content geared towards that topic. So that's why it's really good to know like the site content and where people going and landing and what they love the most. All right, so the last thing you should look at in regards to your analytics is your exit rate. Now, on Squarespace, they have exit rate throughout um, throughout each section. So, for example, site content, the exit rate is 63%. You can just say 64% to round up. And your exit rate is uh, where your visitors leave. So if they come to a website and they land on the home page, maybe they go to another page, and at that page they leave, and let's just say that's the contact page, like where people are exiting your site. Now that is important to know because maybe you can look at that page and it could be a number of reasons why people are leaving. Like it could just be, I got the information, I'm out kind of thing. Or it's like, there's not enough information on this contact page that I didn't get what I want from the contact, right? So you can kind of like look at those pages and see like where improvement can be made. But like here, the exit rate is, 64%. Also in Squarespace, if you hover over, like it'll show you like what it means. So those are the 6 parts of the analytics that if you are a small business owner and you just want to take a look at analytics and you need something just like a foundation, you can go with those 6 things. Is one, the overall traffic, your bounce rate. You can look at your traffic sources, devices like desktop versus mobile. You could do site content and your exit pages rate. Now, analytics are like, it's a whole different world. Like, there's so much more that is involved with analytics. When you look at something like Google Analytics, they have a very in-depth, comprehensive like scope on certain areas in analytics. So it is very, very, I highly recommend you connect Google Analytics to your website because something like this Squarespace can give you the basis, but Google Analytics can give you something that is more in depth to the point where you can make like some very, very in depth informed decisions. For example, Google Analytics, they measure how long a person has been on the page. They measure, and it's more in depth than this. Like what you see here, this time on page is way more in depth than that. They literally can measure like, is it male versus female, gender, whatever it is, demographics, things like that. And it could really give you like a really good bulk of data so that you can make an informed and good business decision. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you want more content like this, please hit subscribe so you can get notified when I upload a new video. Follow me on Instagram at Fenora Web Design. We just started that page. So so don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, you guys take care.